Let's move further afield now. U.S. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump are in quarantine. Both were tested after a top aide, that's Hicks, had tested positive for COVID-19. I'm now joined by U.S. correspondent Jagruti Dave for more on the story. Jagruti, a very warm good morning from South Africa to you. What details do you have for us regarding this latest positive test coming in there from Donald Trump's aide?
Yes, this was a story that was first broken by Bloomberg as they reported that top Trump aide Hicks had tested positive for COVID-19. She had been traveling a lot with the president to a rally in Minnesota on Wednesday, to that debate in Cleveland on Tuesday. And Bloomberg reported that Hicks had to quarantine on Air Force One on Wednesday night on return from that rally. The White House had issued a statement where they hadn't named Hicks, but in response to the stories that were emerging about her having contracted COVID-19, Judd Deere, a White House spokesman, said the president takes the health and safety of himself and everyone who works in support of him and the American people very seriously. Later, President Trump appeared on Fox News where he confirmed that Hicks had indeed tested positive for COVID-19, and he said he wasn't sure what happened next because he and the First Lady were close to Hope, and that they had, as a result, been tested themselves, and they were awaiting test results. And then the president tweeted saying that he and the First Lady were going to begin the quarantine process.
But Jagruti, according to my understanding, this is not the first case of a positive COVID-19 test within the White House.
No, Hicks is by no means the first White House staffer to have tested positive for COVID-19. There was a valet of the president who had tested positive, an aide to Mike Pence, the vice president, who had tested positive, and, of course, National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien had tested positive. But Hicks is the closest aide to the president who has tested positive. She's been in his vicinity. She's been pictured without a face covering on in his vicinity. She is one of the aides who has been seen wearing a face covering as well, it must be said, but this is the closest person to the president thus far who has been tested positive for coronavirus. So this is why it's being taken so seriously. This is why the president and the First Lady are being tested, and we're awaiting those results.
And Jagruti, I suppose the other reason why it's taken seriously is because on the 15th of October, a second presidential debate was expected in Miami, Florida. Have we heard from the White House or even the President, Donald Trump, as to what then happens to this presidential debate?
Well, lots of questions are being asked about that debate on October the 15th in Miami. I mean, look, the status of those debates has been up in the air ever since that chaotic debate in Cleveland on Tuesday, where lots of people were questioning whether the future debates should even go ahead. The Commission for the Presidential Debates, who sponsors the debates, issued a statement saying that they were going to look into the structure. Clearly, the added structure was needed to these debates based on what happened, the chaos that ensued on Tuesday. And so that we're awaiting to hear from the Debate Commission as to what changes they are proposing. The Trump campaign have said that they don't agree to any changes proposed by them, but as far as we know, both sides have said they want to continue with the debates. But this added issue raises further questions now about whether that debate can go ahead if the president has to be in quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and also other events that the president was expected to attend to, Jagruti, very briefly. I mean, he was there to attend a fundraiser, I understand, and also had to go to Sanford in Florida for a campaign rally. Will those be cancelled, or will they still continue?
Well, we're not sure. So the president's schedule was released soon after the story of Hicks's positive test came out, and that schedule looks pretty full. But the president has said he's starting the quarantine process. Now, what exactly does that mean? If he is strictly quarantining, then yes, his rallies, his events, they will have to be cancelled, and he and the First Lady will have to quarantine and not obviously go into public places and meet with people and do all of those scheduled activities and events that he has planned to. So yes, a lot riding on these test results, and as the president quarantines. So we are waiting to see exactly how this develops. It is a developing story, a breaking story in the last few hours, with those test results being closely waited on.
U.S. correspondent Jagruti Dave, thank you so much.